Good morning, Julia.
It feels like an awful lot of progress has been made in recent weeks. We've gone from virtually every sport seeming to have a very high-profile figure as a trans athlete competing against women, despite having all the benefits of being a biological male and going through puberty. And suddenly, the backlash seems to really finally be coming thick and fast.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's because FINA, we're the bravest first international association to come out and say, look, we want to have fair sport for females. We're going to try and maybe bring in an open category, create a third category, have a workshop on it over the next 6 months, trying to find a way to be inclusive that will suit everybody. Unfortunately, it's not going to suit everybody because transgender women are insisting that they're in the women's category, which is giving them an unfair advantage. And I think that at long last, the general public are being listened to as well. And the fact they want fair sport for young girls and women. And, males have fair sport, so I don't know why females should ever have not been allowed to have fair.
And this is the thing, you simply don't have the issue where trans men, i.e. biological women living as men, that they are trying to desperately get into men's sport. Why would that be, Sharon?
Well, they don't. They actually carry on and compete in the women's sport as they did at the NC2As earlier this year, which is the college championships in America, and at the Olympic Games last year when we had non-binary athletes competing in the women's events if they were biological female, because they cannot compete in the men's category because they wouldn't even make the teams. So, we know that male puberty gives a huge advantage. The problem we've got, and Nadine, you have to applaud the fact that she is now trying very hard to get our, national governing bodies to prioritise fairness first and foremost, and then to open dialogue about how we make sport inclusive. The silly thing is that sport is already inclusive. It's not like anyone that's transgender is not able to do sport. They have to do it where their biology meets the rest of the category. So that's like saying that someone that's 15 is stamping their feet saying, I want to be in the under 10s, and we're saying, no, you can't be.
Well, hold on a minute. What if they identify as being under 10?
Yeah, well, unfortunately, there is a biological reality which gives them a definite advantage. So, unfortunately, the difficulty we've got is things like the ECB, cricket, football, tennis, all of which have massive funding from television rights, from sponsorship rights. And unfortunately, removing government money from UK sport or Sport England isn't really going to dent them too much.
Well, there's another way that we as women, and also most men as well, particularly, by the way, as having a daughter, dads of daughters who feel very strongly about this, and especially like husbands like mine who, really love their sport, but believe in fairness of sport. And you don't want a sort of, a lightweight, featherweight, boxer, fighting against a heavyweight boxer, because that wouldn't be fair. It's not a reasonable match, and that's effectively what we're doing when we put biological men, trans women, up against women. And this is the thing: we can vote with our feet, we can vote with our money. If the Euros, and I want all these women's events to go ahead, but if you're going to be having biological men competing, then, not only will I not watch that event, sponsors aren't going to see it, I will also boycott myself. I just simply won't buy the goods of the people who are sponsoring it, because we've seen this again and again and again in all the major events. It's the sponsors that talk, isn't it? When they withdraw their money, suddenly everyone's principles are completely different.
Yeah, we do have consumer power in all sorts of different areas. The difficulty we've got with those sorts of sports in particular, they're very male-dominated anyway. So unfortunately, they get most of the airtime, they get most of the sponsorship, they get most of the profile. Women's sport has made such huge leaps in things like rugby, football, cricket over the last decade. And this is such a step backwards. I would never understand how fair sport isn't the cornerstone of what sport is all about. It's about fairness. That's why we have rules. That's why we have WADA, which is the World Anti-Doping Agency. That agency alone is there to try and stop people getting the tiniest advantage by cheating. And yet women were just expected to line up next to people that are 5, 10, even up to a 30% in weightlifting advantage over them before they even started the competition.
To me, it really was sort of Emperor's New Clothes kind of stuff. We were watching these, huge, big men, fully intact. You can see they're still fully intact in their outfits, with women half their size, looking like they're children, for goodness sake, and saying this is a fair race. It's laughable.
Yeah, that's what most people don't really understand. And they are beginning to wake up. And I think that's why we see things changing now, because in 2015, the IOC changed the rules. And basically, they did away with anyone having to live as a woman for a long time, having any form of surgery, All you have to do is identify as, and that's all you have to do with tennis in this country at the moment, with cricket. And I mean, what's crazy is if you are a fast spin bowler in the men's game, you are not allowed to bowl against second-rate B-team men's cricket teams because it's dangerous.
But you can have a man bowling
as a woman, because then you can do whatever you like. And that's what's so silly as well, because this is a safety issue, not just a fairness.
I mean, some sports less so, but in other sports more so. I mean, this is the thing. And again, none of this is anti-trans. No one wants people who want to live their life as not to be able to compete. But again, the reason why, where we have some, not all sports, if you're playing, certain sports, it won't be relevant whether you're a man or a woman. But where we have that sex-based difference, it is based on the physical biology. It's not based on what you feel on a Wednesday afternoon. It's based on what you actually are and what you're born. And
the law protects that as well. The equality law actually says that in sport where biological sex makes a difference, where gender makes a difference, you are allowed to divide by sex. So these governing bodies can use the British law to enable fair sport.
Yeah. Well, again, you're right. We should applaud Culture Secretary Nadine Dorries for standing up for this. I just wish it hadn't taken quite so long for people like him and her and Boris Johnson and others to actually stand up for fairness. That's all it is. It's just about fairness. No one's attacking trans people. Still able to compete, just compete against people who were born the same sex as you. Sharon Davies, my hero, absolute wonderful woman, Olympic swimming silver medalist, telling it like it is.